Welcome to another episode of Game Boy Roulette, where we take a look at randomly chosen games from the Game Boy library. Dragon Warrior Monsters. Getting some deja vu here. Many moons ago, we looked at Dragon Warrior Monsters 2, and today we look at the original game in the line. Dragon Warrior Monsters, a game in the Dragon Quest series, focused less on standard JRPG mechanics and more on capturing and training small creatures. And there's no beating around the bush, this is very much a Pokemon ripoff. But is that necessarily a bad thing? Pokemon was and still is a phenomenon, and if another franchise can put their own spin on the mechanic, why not try? Not to mention, a lot of the monster raising mechanics have been seen in previous Dragon Quest games, so it's not like this is a franchise completely turning itself inside out to copy the popular kids' homework. But there's one mechanic that Dragon Warrior Monsters did well before Pokemon did it. Breeding. Yes, nowadays breeding Pokemon is essential for getting good stats, or egg moves, or shinies, or a Fiona if for some reason you want a worthless Pokemon to hang out with your love disc, but all of that was introduced in Generation 2. Meanwhile, Dragon Warrior Monsters had an even more in-depth breeding mechanic a year before that. I have no idea if Pokemon got the idea specifically from Dragon Warrior Monsters, but given how influential Dragon Quest has been to the world of gaming, it would not surprise me if there was some connection. In fact, how has there not been a Dragon Quest Pokemon crossover yet? Wait, does Smash Brothers count? And just look at this box art showing off all the monsters we can raise. We have Strange Serpent, Big Lip Bug, Demon Monkey, Bunny Bee, a special friend, and an attempted mascot. Just try not to look right at their faces. So, can this game out Pokemon? Let's go questing with Dragon Warrior Monsters. Eidos Interactive. Oh, right, them. They existed. And Enix. Just Enix. Ooh. The stars. Dragon Warrior, aka Dragon Quest. Monsters! Alright, as always with RPGs, we're gonna play as much as we can just to get a sense of the game. Already extremely Pokemon. Although that is a really nice fireplace. Yeah, graphics-wise, very similar to... Well, I say similar to Pokemon, but that's unfair. It's very similar to most RPGs of this era. Oh man, a monster's right there! Who could have possibly seen this coming? Oh, we're already getting our monsters. Heck yeah. Alright, let's do this. Monster Farm's on the upper level. Oh! Oh, well, there's the slime. Okay, this is definitely a Dragon Quest game. Oh, and there's a special friend. It's Slib. Oh, it's just a slime. Alright, we have attack, defense, agility, intelligence, and... Whittled? Oh! Oh, it follows you! Well, that's one thing this game already has of a Pokemon. So, look, the Pokemon comparison's gonna happen a lot. I know it's not ideal, but the fact is, this is going for a Pokemon feeling. Okay, yep, there's a teleport up there. Alright, let's get a sense of what the gameplay's like. Because overworld gameplay so far is fine. Yeah, anytime a game has this effect, it's a 10 out of 10. I found one herb. Wait. Is this randomly generated? The floors are random, as are the items. That's pretty cool. Okay, so we got some skills, we can get some basic stats. Oh, and it shows us the map. Oh, battle. Look out. Wait, what was your name? Anteater? That's a little more than an anteater, I think. So rather than, you know, separate moves, it's just a generic fight button. Anteater got up and is looking at us. Want to take Anteater into your party? Heck yeah! Please name Anteater Furby. So, gameplay-wise, it does have this sort of... some similarities to Pokemon, but it also is doing a lot differently, a little more... well, a little more Dragon Quest-y. I'm okay with this. Most importantly, I am definitely not going to get to the breeding mechanic, but for what it's worth, I looked into it, like some guides. It is really in-depth and interesting, and that's a big plus. Ooh, that's a nice effect. This game really focused, rather than having a gigantic assortment of monsters, on taking the ones you have and playing around with them with, like, you know, the breeding mechanics and making them stronger. Okay, I really want to get Dracky, because Dracky is a friend. Look at that thing. Yes! Please name Dracky? Okay, we shall name it Yay! Oh, this is cool. I get to look at my friends, and they just chill out with me. So yeah, the breeding mechanics have, like, there's some monsters that can't be caught. There's some ways to make your monsters even stronger. It's just ways to, optimize your team. Also, I quickly looked into how big this game is. It is a long game. There's like 30 chapters, and I think right now we're on chapter, 1 still. So gameplay-wise, I'm enjoying it. I mean, I know I keep making the Pokemon comparison, but this one very clearly tried to go in a different direction by bringing in more Dragon Quest stuff. And great! That's the way you do Pokemon. Well, I say Pokemon clones, but just stuff based on Pokemon. Hi, Slime. This is probably not optimized for when you have two monsters, so tell you what. This seems like a great time to check out. What does this game look like on Game Boy Color? Okay, this room actually looks pretty detailed. They have nice, different shades of brown. I know that doesn't seem like much, but that's a big deal for Game Boy Color games. Ooh. Yeah, this looks nice, actually. All it needs to do is nail the monster looks, and we should be good to go. I'll catch you in 25 minutes when we're there. Let's see. Aw, adorable. Looks good in color, too. But what is the overworld gonna look like? Is it gonna be beautiful? Is it gonna be crisp? Is it gonna be colorful? Actually, yeah. I like how bright it is. And again, I really like that these are randomly generated. As I've said before, it's so difficult to review an RPG when I have so little time with it. But once I've gotten to the gameplay, yeah, this is fun. I mean, it's Dragon Quest, which has always been a very, very well-done RPG series, mixed with Pokemon, another well-done RPG series. And the result is just something that's well done. And again, I had to do some pre-game research on this one to see just how in-depth the game gets, and the answer is really in-depth. Oh, I have another anteater. We shall name you... Look, when you only have 4 characters, what are you supposed to do? Always tough to review a game when I've played exactly 0.5% of it. Okay, actually it's not that tough, because in this case it was an RPG that laid all its cards on the table from the bat to let us know what we were in for. And what we were in for was a game a lot like Pokemon, but with more than enough changes to make it its own unique and fun experience. Yes, the main mechanic was defeating small creatures and adding them to your party and leveling them up, but there were some very welcome changes, such as the combat mechanics getting an overhaul, and the excellent addition of randomized dungeon layouts. As I said, being a Pokemon-like isn't necessarily a bad thing if you can make enough changes, and Dragon Warrior Monsters had those changes. And I think what really makes the game work is that those changes made the game, for lack of a better term, more Dragon Quest-y. Obviously, this is a spin-off of a pretty beloved RPG series, so adding in mechanics like the combat style, having more of an adventure feeling than just a quest to catch them all, and even the more RPG-like setting, made the game feel true to Dragon Quest. It's really the best of both worlds. You've got the aspects of both Pokemon and Dragon Quest in one game. I can see why the Dragon Warrior Monsters series is remembered so fondly, and why people don't usually compare it directly to Pokemon. It really did a lot to make sure the comparison was closer to its source. So even for as little as I played, it left me wanting to play more. Therefore, it's getting a positive review and a recommendation. Dragon Warrior Monsters may seem like a Pokemon ripoff, but it's not. It absolutely finds its own identity and results in a fun RPG. Now, when do I get my Draki plushie? Oh, those actually exist. And that's all for another episode of Game Boy Roulette. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe to follow the series as we continue to dig through the Game Boy vault. I'm Brian J, and I'll see you next time.